Being stuck with your art because you haven't got any ideas or because you have too many ideas is a real problem. But filling your art journal does not have to be complicated. You can build a page with simple mark making and a bit of paint smushing. So let's have a play with that and see where we can go with it. Of course, this isn't just for your art journal. You can mark make and paint smush on any surface you'd like to work on. And yours doesn't have to be the same as mine. Just use this idea as a jumping off point to get you arting today. I start my page in my junk journal. It's just got some leftover paint from it. I actually started this with a little bit of washi tape ephemera because when I did start, I wasn't sure where the page was heading at all. I just wanted to put something down there. And on my desk, I had these rolls. So I thought I would put a little bit of tape here. I tend to like to add something else to keep my washi tape stuck in place, make sure it won't move anywhere. So I tend to use gel medium for this, and today I'm using matte medium. Then once that was in place, I could start adding in some paint and some mark making, and I'm doing this with a flat brush. The painting I'm doing is pretty much to kind of cover a few of the areas, and then it sort of evolved into this mark making. And I like the mark making here because it gives me some distinct pockets of shapes, the shape of the brush pretty much. Once I'd got into a rhythm of that, I was just finding it fun to do, so I just kept on doing it. But yours can be anything you like, done with any kind of brush you like. Find the marks that really speak to you, make your marks and do them the way you like to do them. You want to find your own art language, and this kind of play and filling your art journal regularly is a great way to find that language, your own personal art language. So this is where the smushing really comes in. I've really been getting into a bit of paint smushing, really enjoying it, as my patrons know. Big wave patrons, hello! I like to smush with a big round brush, and it's just about pushing and pulling the paint over the surface of the page in a kind of a random, swirly sort of way. Finding the way that you like to use your brush to give you the marks that you like is also part of this filling your art journal process. There isn't really a wrong or right way to use tools that you have, but for some reason we feel that there is, don't we? Like there are rules on how we should be using the brushes that we have. I mean, there are best practices for taking good care of your brushes so that they last longer and you get good use out of them. But when it comes to actually making the marks with them, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's totally up to you. Play and experiment and do this kind of mark making regularly to see how you like to use your brush. Get really physical with it. How do you like to move your arm across the page? And how I like to use a round brush might be different to how you like to use one. And that's totally fine because art is all about doing you. The more ways you can find to use the tools in the way that you like to use them is just adding in more texture and depth to your work, so have fun with it. Okay, let's change up the medium and do some more mark making, and I've reached for my Inktense pencils, which are a water reactive pencil, so I'm going to have fun with adding water here too. Paint layers are actually dry, but you can work on wet ones for a different look, so that might be something you want to experiment with too. I'm going to do some more smushing here with a mix of the Inktense pencil and also some paint as well, and it's going to be a very loose smush look because it is a little bit on the wet side. And then once that's down, I'm just going to let it all dry. So I think I could do with a bit of drama here, and for that I like to work with darker colours sometimes. So that's something that I think I'm going to try on this page, and add in a little bit of indigo smushing this time. Just a touch here and there. But have a look at your page. How can you add drama to it? Maybe you'll want to go with a lighter colour. If you've been using dark colours, maybe that's the way to do it. Or you could do some collage, maybe some stamping on stenciling. Again, just go with your own flow. You can start to see how all the layers are just adding interest and texture, can't you? And all it really takes is some mark making, some paint smushing, maybe a bit of collage here or there, like with that washi tape at the start. Take each layer as it comes. Don't try to plan it. Don't try to look forward to the next layer. Just stay in the layer that you're in at the moment and just play with it. Just build it there. If you do find yourself becoming unsure, then go work on something else for a little bit. Let your layer dry and then come back to it. Now I really like this dark light combo with the mark making using white paint pen over the indigo smushing. At this point I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it, and I followed my own advice, went and worked on something else. Then I came back to this and decided to match the dots that I'd put down with the white paint pen with some painted circles. They also go with the pencil loops from an earlier layer, and you can let the mark making you have on your page influence and inspire more mark making as you build up your page. You know, you can reflect back to earlier layers even as you kind of cover up those layers. Some more smushing to connect my circles across the page, and then this is where my piece stopped for me. It had another pause here. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with it next, but it was kind of getting late in the day, so I packed up my art session and came back to this a couple of days later. And by then these little marks had decided that they wanted to be on this page. So I've gone back to an Inktense pencil, but changing up the colour a little bit. And something I like doing here is just to pull out some of the Inktense with some just small drops of water just to intensify it a bit. Get that mark really working for me. Filling a page with mark making and smushing is a great way to free up your art a little and, just lean into the process and have fun with it. Discover your marks, your way of using your tools, and let the layers grow and see where it takes you. Now, if you wanted to see how I use mark making and smushing with a focal image, then I actually have a workshop that uses owls as our focal image. It's all about using our tools and our materials and having fun with our painting. So if that's something that would interest you, you can find it over in my Etsy shop, and I look forward to working with you on that workshop too, so have fun with that. Thank you so much for watching my art video today and for all your support. Any likes or comments are so appreciated. Enjoy your art today, and I will catch up again with you soon. Bye!